Hello friends, so I would like to introduce myself first. So I am Vivek Chaudhary. I have done my graduation in BCom Honours from St. Xavier's College, Kolkata. Concurrently, I was also pursuing company secretary and chartered accountancy courses. I have done 1 year of articleship in Ernst & Young in the audit department. Post that, I quit my CA course and went on to pursue MBA. Currently, I am a PGP student in IIM Lucknow. First year student in IIM Lucknow. Now, while I was preparing for my CAT and while I decided that I would quit CA, there were a lot of questions that were thrown at me. Why MBA? Why do you want to quit CA? Because I had ranked in the first 2 levels and it was really a tough decision for me to actually pursue the MBA course, to actually persuade my parents for it and all others as well. Now, I believe that MBA is a course which is unique in itself. Now, you have to find your own reason why should you do MBA. Do not go after what the people are saying, what your friends are saying, or what they are doing for that matter. Because for example, let's take my example. So what I found was that CA and CS, though they are very comprehensive courses, but they do lack in one aspect. They are correspondence courses. Now they are distance education courses. That means they do not expose you to a number of things which are present in MBA. So I found 2 key takeaways from this. Number 1, MBA actually helps you in networking, developing interpersonal skills and people management. So in our day-to-day classes that we have, our professors do help us with a lot of experiments. For example, they throw us in random group allocations, there are competitions, and there are people from all the 29 states all over India speaking different languages, having different backgrounds. Some are engineers, some are arts students, some belong to commerce background. So in that way you get to learn a lot of things. Even when you are solving a business case, there are various perspectives that come to one single business problem. So there is no single solution that we arrive at, but still we learn a lot. Secondly, I would say that MBA is a unique program because it exposes you to multiple dimensions of a business. Let's take the example of a CA. CA is a very technical oriented course in the sense that it concentrates mostly on the technical aspects of a business, be it auditing, accounting, taxation. But what MBA does is it throws light on the various other aspects. For example, marketing, HR, IT, yes, finance as well. So when you are in the MBA curriculum, you actually learn to look at one particular business problem holistically. You develop a holistic view around it. That is one key takeaway from MBA. These are the 2 reasons why I found myself to actually go ahead and pursue MBA despite having ranks in the other 2 courses. You have to find your own reason for the same. Now, after you have decided whether or not you want to pursue it, believe me that cracking CAT is the first difficult step that you would encounter. I say it's difficult because many of us are not even aware of how should we start and how should we prepare. First of all, the time horizon. I started preparing for CAT when approximately there were 7 months left and I had no clue as to where should I start. So what I did was, as a stepping stone, I took a tuition from one of the recognized tuition centers, not because I was lacking in the basic skills which is required to crack CAT, but yes, I wanted to gain an overall understanding of what is the syllabus, what has been the past year papers be like, and more importantly, I wanted to practice thoroughly before I sit on the D-Day. So how do you practice when you take tuitions from a tuition center? They give you a lot of materials, number 1, then there are a lot of mock sessions that they do organize. So there are proctored mocks, unproctored mocks as well. Thirdly, there are online test series. All these help you actually prepare for CAT. Now there are 4, as we all know that there are 4 specific subjects which are tested in CAT. Number 1 being the quantitative aptitude. Now many people confuse it for mathematics. Now quantitative aptitude is different from mathematics in the sense that it do not require a core mathematics skills. You are not supposed to be an expert in differentiation or integration or in higher mathematics to actually crack this section of the CAT. What all is required is a strong basic foundation in mathematics right from your class 6. So there are chapters like time, speed and distance, percentage, proportions. Questions are basically asked from these chapters only. However, they are twisted and they are not like the ones that we have done in our school days. So for that we need a thorough practice. What I did was I followed a book known by McGraw-Hill Publications. So it's written by Arun Sharma. That book has plenty of questions around quantitative aptitude ranging from easy to medium to difficult level. You may not go up to the difficult level, but it's imperative that you practice the first two levels thoroughly. Secondly, talking about the other subject is verbal ability. Now, verbal ability actually tests you on your communication and written skills. And how do you prepare for that? This is one such subject, this is one such section of the CAT which no single tuition center would be able to help you with. Why? The reason being is that the English section has various questions which are very subjective in nature. For example, we have three or four passages which are unseen, so they are called RC passages, reading comprehension passages. They test you on your reading skills, they test you on your comprehension skills. How fast are you able to read through the entire passage and then make sense out of it? For that, I believe that what matters is that if you have been a voracious reader, then you have an edge over other candidates. If not, then there is nothing to worry. Start preparing right now. Read random articles on various subjects, for example, psychology, sociology, physiology, and various others, humanity, science, because CAT tests you on random subjects. So if you are not actually aware even of the basic terms in those subjects, you cannot really read through the passage in the allotted time. So what I did was open up the internet, Google topics on psychology, let's say, read the few articles which come across the few pages, and then you will be comfortable enough to answer those questions. Secondly, in your verbal ability, apart from the reading comprehension skills, they test you on your grammar. Now, how should you brush up on your grammar skills which you have learned maybe probably in your class 9, 10 or 8? Now, for that, I will suggest a book called Brennan Martin. Go through that book. For example, there are various subjects and topics. Let's say agreement of subject with the verb. So verb subject agreement, there is singular, plural. So these topics you should be thorough, because in the actual CAT examination, they would ask you to pinpoint the exact mistakes which are there in the sentences. So if your grammar skills are not brushed up, you may not be able to answer them. Third is the vocabulary part of the verbal ability. Now, vocabulary part can only be developed through voracious reading, but still what you can do right now is that if you are not good at vocabulary, if you feel that you are not so good at vocabulary, then what you can do is take up a dictionary, read 5 random words every day, and then try to make a sentence each from those words. Now, this will actually help you in remembering the words which you come across and then apply them while you are reading your comprehension or even while you are answering vocabulary based questions in the verbal ability. The second is the DI and the LR. So DI stands for data interpretation. Now, in data interpretation, there are questions in CAS around graph which require you to actually interpret the data and then answer the questions. This I believe can be practiced through the tutor notes, whichever tuition center that you have taken. So get a hang of each type of graph that you come across, be it a pie chart, be it a histogram, be it a line diagram or various other type of diagram. So know what these diagrams actually mean, what they stand for, and some basic terms. For example, most of these DILR cases are around profitability or they may be around sales trend. So if you are an engineering student, and you should read actually what are the sales growth target, you should be able to read what do profits stand for, though it will be mentioned in the CAT paper, but still if you are aware of it, it will help you a lot. Secondly, I would believe that apart from the mock test papers that you will be giving in your tuition center, apart from the test series, what all is required is a consistent preparation. So whether you are working or whether you are not, you have to be consistent. So let's say if you are working, then you have to take a weekend batch for your tuitions firstly. Secondly, if you are going to tuitions on a weekend and the rest of the day you are working in the office, make sure that you actually spare at least 2 hours every day and constantly keep on revising and practicing, because once you are out of practice, you may not be able to answer even the basic questions in CAT. If you are not working, then you may take up a tuition which works for let's say which give you classes for 4 days a week, 5 days a week. So that will keep that will keep you abreast with all the things that you have been reading. Apart from that, it is equally important to actually prepare for your interview while you are preparing for CAT. So what most of us do is that we start preparing for CAT, give the CAT examination, and then when there is hardly 1 month left for an actual IIM or let's say any institute interview, you start preparing. Now, even if you score a 99 and up percentile and you get a call from let's say IIM Ahmedabad, but you have not been preparing for the interview, chances are that you may not be selected. So it's better to actually prepare for the interview simultaneously when you are preparing for CAT. Now, how do you prepare for an interview? 2 key things. First is your technical knowledge, second is your HR skills. Now, when I'm talking about technical knowledge, first it is important that you brush up on 1 or 2 fundamental core subjects related to your area. For example, I was a commerce student, so I brushed up on financial management and accounting. If you are an engineering student, do likewise in your domain. Secondly, I would say that it is equally important to actually brush up your current affairs. So keep reading the newspapers. More importantly, the editorials. Develop a perspective on them, develop an opinion, because the interviewer will not test you on what are the facts that you know. Even they know the facts. So they would like to know about your opinion on the economic affairs or in the political affairs as a whole. Apart from that, the one thing that most of the student misses out on is the HR questions. Now, people take it lightly because they feel that whatever HR questions may be asked, for example, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, they will answer it spontaneously. Believe me, that's not going to happen, because ultimately what they are going to test you is there has to be a proper structure in your answer, even when you are answering basic stuff about yourself. So let me talk about the very first interview question that is thrown at most of the IIM's interview is, tell me about yourself. Now, if you have not prepared for this question well in advance, chances are that you are going to speak something which you are not comfortable in, and then they are going to catch up on that subject itself, and your interview will sway in a completely wrong direction. So if given an opportunity of tell me about yourself, and if you have prepared your answer well in advance, then you can be pretty sure that you can highlight your strengths, you can highlight those areas where you are comfortable in, so that the rest of your interviews move comfortably. Apart from that, so there are few questions, for example, why MBA, what are the specialization that you would want to opt for. Now, for such type of questions, I would advise the students to actually introspect, look within themselves why they have decided to actually sit for the CAT examination, as I mentioned right in the beginning. So first be clear about it, and then make sure that in the interview you are very logical in your answer, that you are able to actually establish a link between your short-term goal and between your long-term goal. How will MBA help you achieve what you want to do in your life? So for example, you want to be an entrepreneur. How will MBA help you in that? Thirdly, I would say that, for example, many of the people have a doubt whether they should go for MBA after having adequate number of work experience, or should they enter into an MBA institute as a fresher. Is there any disadvantage if you enter into an MBA institute as a fresher? Now, for that, I would say that there is no disadvantage per se if you are a fresher. Even I am a fresher. But the thing is that if you have done your internship in one of few organizations, that's definitely an edge over the other candidates, because you would be able to relate to the practical life whatever will be taught in the class. So even if you are a fresher, make sure that you have done internships in a few organizations which will actually help you grasp the lessons in the classes well. And if you are a person who has a work experience, then you can definitely, it will be very easy for you. Your entire interview even will concentrate around whatever you have done in your job. So finally, I would like to say that firstly, what are the main key takeaways? Firstly is regarding the preparations. I would say that concentrate more on strategy rather than knowledge, because in those limited 3 hours, you will have to answer almost 100 questions, and then you have to strategically allot your time, find out which are the questions from your comfortable areas, which are the questions from your weak areas. Attempt the questions from your comfortable areas. Do not only stick around the questions from your weak areas, because if you spend a lot of time on your weak areas, then you may miss out on your strong areas, which is a negative for you. Even if you get the answer to that, you are a loser in the long run, because you may have probably spent 5 minutes, 7 minutes on that question, which is not worth it. Secondly, regarding the interviews, prepare while you are simultaneously preparing for your CAT. Thirdly, a final piece of advice is that do not look upon MBA as a magical wand which will transform your personality all of a sudden, or which will guarantee you a rupees 20-30 lakh job. That's not going to happen. It completely depends on you, how you are going to utilize these 2 years of your life, because there are people even after securing an admission into an IIM not sure what they'd want to do. So they actually waste their 2 years of their life. Do not do that, and find out, given your present status quo, given your present job, is MBA truly worth for you? Finally, best of luck, be patient, be calm, and do not stress out too much, because CAT is just knocking at the door. Bell the cat.